Hello and welcome back. There's two ways to learn things in life. You can learn it intellectually. You can be told or you can read about it. It can be something you put in your memory and you say, okay, I'm not going to do that because this will happen. And then there's the what you would consider, or what is called in today's society, learning it the hard way. And that's what this video is about. Because you can learn a lesson through a book, but it's only going to really be on the surface of your being. You're not really going to understand it. And certain things, of course, like don't jump off a bridge because you'll die, is a good way to intellectually understand something. You don't need to test that out for yourself. Okay, some of it is pretty obvious. Don't step in front of a car. You don't want to break your leg. You don't need to experience that for yourself, potentially dying or being crippled. So some of these lessons are great to learn intellectually. It makes sense, and it's great that as human beings we have the capacity, the capability to understand our world through our brains, our mind. So it has its place. It's very important as well. And the human race would have never gotten as far as it did without it. But when it comes to spiritually, when it comes to learning lessons of the heart, when it comes to learning about breakup, for example, and grieving and anger, sadness, when it comes to all of these sort of things, and these things are best learned, in my opinion, through experience. And also, in life, you're going to find that certain people have certain tendencies. Certain people will be considered to be a daredevil. Certain people will be considered to be a little bit more on the cautious side. So, and that's really what I want to talk about in this video. That not everyone will learn the same lesson the same way. In life, in our life, my life, your life, there's certain aspects of your life, of my life, that I need to learn the hard way. Someone that's a daredevil, you can tell them countless times over and over that, you know, the sport they're doing or whatever it is that they're doing that's to us, or, you know, you, myself, whatever, considered too extreme or too dangerous, that person may need to have, you know, their both legs broken or whatever it is in order for that lesson to learn, or that lesson to really sink into their being. And there's a different quality. There's a different quality in life that is born in you, if you will, when you learn a lesson the hard way. It humbles you, first of all. It changes a person. Hopefully it doesn't take away a person's innocence. Okay? But there's a different quality to a person after they've learned a lesson the hard way. So sometimes a person might need to learn the lesson of love and heartbreak that way. They might need to have their heart broken so many times before the lesson really sinks in deep. So I want to encourage you two things. Number one is to let people learn their lessons in the manner that for them is best. Because for some people, no matter how much intellectually they understand something, they still need to experientially understand it. And there's a difference there. And I want to also encourage you to do the same thing for yourself. You're going to have certain longings. There's going to be certain desires in your life that no matter what you need to fulfill, there's going to be these certain things that you need to experience. And from what I've learned in life, I tend to be the type of person that learns a lot of lessons the hard way, not all of them. But I've always been the type of person to jump into my hard to learn lessons head first, understanding that I just learn best that way. I learn best some things to just learn it the hard way. And what happens is that you develop a wisdom. You develop a certain type of wisdom that you cannot get. Wisdom can be given to you through understanding it intellectually. Wisdom can only be earned by experience, by challenging the things in your life that you truly desire, having failed and failed and failed at a certain thing and reached a certain point where you know it to its depth. You understand it to the bones, if you will. So in life, if you see someone that is learning his lessons, her lessons, it seems always the hard way, there's something for you to learn from that person as well. Because oftentimes, a person will stay trapped in a bubble because they're too afraid of failure. They're too afraid of getting hurt or whatever it is. They may have certain desires inside of them that deep down they might not talk about, but they need to fulfill in this lifetime. There's certain desires that we all need to fulfill in this lifetime. And whether or not we succeed with those desires is not the point. It's that we need to exhaust the desire itself. And a desire can never be exhausted until you've experienced it. No matter how much you understand it intellectually, no matter how many books you've read, no matter how many times your parents, your friends, your siblings have said, don't do this or do it like this instead, there's certain desires that you need to experience to fulfill them. So in my approach in life, I've always seen people in this way that I feel as though everyone is fine the way they are. I don't think there's any wrong a person can do. But in anything that a person does, they may see wrong or they may see right through whatever it is they experience. I believe each person, their lives are to their own. And I don't judge a person by how they live their life and what they do. Instead, I find the courage when a person can be themselves and not listen to other people if they have a certain desire that needs to be fulfilled in this life. If they can find the strength and the courage to fulfill that desire, even though everyone else thinks it's the wrong thing for them to do, to me that's an ultimate act of love and courage, self-love and courage. And again, to anyone that's too afraid, that wants to live their life in this small bubble, the thing that happens to those types of people is that when they hit a certain age, when you reach a certain age in your life that you feel your youth is past you anymore, you may not have the energy or the ability to fulfill certain desires anymore. And then you may fall into a life of regret. In your later years, you may reach your deathbed with a lot of regrets and a lot of things you wish you would have done when you had the youth, the energy, the motivation to do it. So that's what this video is about, really, to try and encourage people to go ahead and fulfill your heart's desires. And you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about because everyone has certain heart desires. So I encourage you to step into your authenticity. Step into the being that you came here to be. And allow yourself to shine through your light and your darkness. So I leave you with that. Wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.